In the news tonight, police arrest one suspect linked to the murder of KAHWOKYA councillor.
Remove any trade barriers and ensure that your people
Ease restrictions on Ugandan goods. Prime Minister Robin Nabanja asks European nations. Also tonight, Ndeba fire kills couple, houses and merchandise worth hundreds of millions. And in sports, amazing tale of Orange Blockbusters who became champions after just 1 year in Serie A National Volleyball League. Tonight we are glad to have you watching PM Edition on CTV. Good evening, I am Kalachi Brian. Joining me for sign language interpretation is Isaac Luchams. Now starting us off tonight, police have arrested a man alleged to be connected with the murder of James Kakoza, the chairman of Church Zone, KAHWOKYA, Kampala Central Division. Kakoza was attacked and killed on Yusufulule Road near Centenary Park in Kampala City while jogging in the morning. The details.
Residents of Church Zone in KAHWOKYA were overwhelmed by grief and anger, engulfed after news of the killing of the area local council 1 chairman trickled in. Kakoza, aged 55, was also the area councillor at Kampala Central Municipality. According to preliminary findings, the killers used the border to follow Kakoza before attacking him at an isolated spot.
It is alleged as he was approaching Centenary Park from Yusufulule Road, assailants allegedly on motorcycles got off and hit him in the back of the head. We are not yet certain what exactly happened because we found him with his phones and some of the few items. So we are not sure whether this was just a mugging or it was a targeted attack on him.
Kampala Metropolitan Police Commander Stephen Tenoi was one of the police officers who rushed to the scene of crime where the body was lying. Later, the body was taken to MUGALU mortuary for a post-mortem.
Kakoza James doesn't segregate anybody. He's not tribalistic. Via politics, is a genuine man.
This is so bad, but this is because he has been very vigilant against thugs and thieves in the area of KAHWOKYA, which he represents in council.
Relatives and friends convened at Kakoza's home to mourn.
And I really condemn that. He has been very vigilant, he has been peace-loving, he wanted his area in KAHWOKYA safe of these hooligans. So it is these thugs who have been here in this area who definitely would have done that.
Thugs, criminal had criminal, no killed Kakoza. There is no suspect about political affiliation, there is nothing else. The problem is this hard criminal of KAHWOKYA. Most of them, we know them.
A leader who does not discriminate, he has been serving people of all colors, he has been serving not only his party members, he has been serving everybody. It is so disheartening. We do not know why this has happened.
Kampala Minister Minsa Kabanda visited the home and condemned the rising crime in the city.
Hardworking, he's been cooperative, he's been so good. I cannot say how he is, but at least he's been a very hardworking man and so straight in whatever he does, because he was working with each and every person despite of the party he believes in. So we've lost someone whom we cannot replace.
Kabanda proposes the installation of tracking devices on all motorbikes to fight criminals who use bikes to avoid being arrested.
We are going to put security codes as in borders such that we can easily tell that this border belongs to this one and it is this one who has been driving this border. If it was the case, now we would have seen the person who is involved in this incident.
Kampala Metropolitan Police spokesperson ZAYED says they are holding one suspect.
Statements that we have collected around the city on how the appearances of these suspects are, and we have a person in our custody, and that is one of the security guards around the area who could have seen whatever was happening.
Story by Chris Semalemu Semakwela for CTV PM Edition.
May his soul rest in eternal peace. Now, Prime Minister Robina Nabbanja has asked European Union countries to open up markets and allow Ugandan products to be exported to member countries to address the existing trade imbalance between Uganda and European Union countries. Nabbanja was speaking during the France National Day, commonly known as the Bastille Day.
Bastille Day marks the July 14, 1789 storming of the Bastille prison by the angry Paris crowds that helped spark the French Revolution and by extension a spirit of national unity, thanks to the broad rights granted to citizens in the ensuing years. The Kampala event took place at the residence of the French ambassador in Uganda, His Excellency Jules Armand, in Nakasero. The Prime Minister of Uganda, Robina Nabbanja, who represented President Museveni, said although there are cordial relations between France and Uganda, there is a need to increase volume and value to the country's exports to France and other EU countries.
Uganda and France enjoy cordial relations of mutual friendship and cooperation. Your Excellency and friends, there are a number of examples to demonstrate the partnership and solidarity the French government and people have shown Ugandans.
Nabbanja commended France for supporting Uganda in various sectors, especially in health, military and hosting of refugees. She said France was one of the first countries that supported Uganda to acquire COVID-19 vaccines.
When we were in the middle of the COVID-19 pandemic, France was one of the countries that came out to aid us with vaccines and other supplies to protect our people's lives. Long live Uganda, long live the people of France, for God and my country.
We want to take this slow and sure. Thank you so much.
The French ambassador to Uganda, His Excellency Jules Armand, lauded Uganda for the good work relations and pledged continued support. Armand said that France will one day be part of the African Union because of the aims and objectives which are similar with those of the French government. The Prime Minister proposed a toast for the good health, prosperity and long life of His Excellency Emmanuel Macron, the President and the people of France, for the continued mutual relationship between Uganda and France. The Bastille fortress, located in Paris, was a notorious state prison used by the French kings in the 18th century. Political prisoners and citizens were held in the prison on the king's orders.
Our way to partnership with the African continent too is not to come as...
Now, a drive to boost sanitation in slum areas in Kampala City has been launched by the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, Dr. Stephen KAZIIMBA MUGALU. The prelate started the campaign at KALERWE, KAWEMPE municipality, with a call on residents to embrace physical exercise for the good of their health.
Slum dwellers in KALERWE, Sebina, Dobi and Chigundu zone have joined Church of Uganda Archbishop Stephen KAZIIMBA MUGALU to clean their area. Since the area has a poor drainage system, it's prone to floods. Malaria and other diseases linked to poor sanitation are rampant in the area, according to local leaders.
We face a lot of problems like malaria, and a lot of pregnant women suffer a lot. And though you can go and make a survey in the clean, you find a lot of people, a lot of children, even women, suffering malaria.
To create more awareness on the need for good sanitation, parishioners of St. Nicholas Church of Uganda invited Archbishop KAZIIMBA to the area.
Keep our souls clean because godliness is next and the cleanliness are interwoven. But also it is helping us to live a good life.
KAZIIMBA says the gospel of Jesus Christ cannot take root in the area if residents are living in a filthy environment.
Because when we litter, we cause diseases to our souls. Dysentery, we cause malaria, cholera, when we keep our souls clean and our environment, it helps us to live a good life.
Kampala Diocese Secretary Reverend John Awadi said the sanitation drive is part of a series of activities to celebrate 50 years of Kampala Diocese.
As we celebrate this Golden Jubilee, we thought it should not just be a time of celebration, but it should be a time of reawakening ourselves to the call, to the mandate that Jesus Christ gave us.
Police and UPDF officers participated in the campaign.
An area which is having 60 zones. We have got a chance today where the church and the group, they have come to make sure our places where we live are clean. So we appreciate for today, and we call upon for the community, let it be the habit, let it be a daily habit to make sure we are living in a clean environment.
Story compiled by Chris Semakula for CTV PM Edition.
Great attempt by the Archbishop. Sometimes actions preach more than words. Now, China National Offshore Oil Corporation Uganda Limited has handed over 56 houses to BLOCKBUSTERS residents who were displaced by feeder pipeline in the Kingfisher Oil Development field in Chikube district. Each of the 56 housing units comprises 2 bedrooms, a living room, an external kitchen, pit latrine, and a bathroom.
According to Zakaria Lubega, the head of cooperative affairs at SENOC, Uganda, the houses were constructed as part of the compensation package for some families who were affected by the construction of the feeder oil pipeline. He said other residents opted to be given cash in order to resettle elsewhere.
Program eje heredi kiretwa tushoga mabantata na mukaga abaye bakwasuko binamashuga bagararamu erizoba twatumuntu bakwasa amajuga bakutwayombeshero mu butongore kandi okombe kamaje ko katandiko mwako gwahwire mu kwezi kwa gatano.
Lubega says that the affected persons who have been staying in their old houses will soon vacate them to pave way for the construction of the pipeline.
Angisize cyo turukimanya abo kubateye no twagezere ngwarga hitaka kugira ngo tuza kukozesa itaka betaka kozise kandi betaka kozise abatine shoma nabwo achoria naza kupangiza.
The State Minister for Energy and Mineral Development, Peter Lokoris, asked the leadership of Chikube district to follow the required physical planning regulation to make the area modern.
To guide our people on future constructions here, we have to set the standard. The standard has been set. It has to be that standard or something better than that. It may not be the fast, it may not be fast-tracked, but gradually. We hope our people will adhere to the advice, and then in the end, it is the community that will benefit.
Mark Pinkson, the vice chairperson of SENOC Uganda, said they are committed to work in an environment free of conflicts.
Of the affected households were engaged in crop farming, and the principle of in-full resettlement was tried to ensure that households are resettled upon the remaining parcels of land acquisition where feasible.
Local leaders said they are willing to support projects and programs that spur development. Some of the beneficiaries say they are pleased to be resettled in better homes.
We've got ventilated, improved pit toilet there, and it has got also a solar panel on it. Compared to my former house which I had. My former house was a semi-permanent house built of boards and mud.
Now, after the break, a fire has left lives lost and millions of property destroyed. Don't blink. The Hawkers and Vendors Association have launched what they have called a Smart City Hawking program. They say the program will ensure that they will only operate in the new tax park and old tax park so that city streets are not congested.
The hawkers and vendors were occupying almost all roads in downtown Kampala, making them impassable, were evicted by a combined force of police and the UPDF in January. Kampala Capital City Authority officials say the operation was intended to create a smart city where vendors and hawkers are allowed to operate only in gazetted markets. The affected vendors protested the move, saying markets like Usafi, St. Kudemba and Nakaso had no space for more vendors. Last week, KCC Executive Director Dorothy Chisaka said they are soon unveiling plans to accommodate vendors in special spaces within the city.
But we are thankful that we are coming together, not in anger, but to work together, to have a caucus with the leaders so that we can come up with clear ways of working together.
According to the General Secretary for the Federation, Mr. Abraham Kasozi, vendors and hawkers intend to transform into manufacturers and producers 5 years from now, after getting the necessary skills and knowledge.
Then we have a skilling program. In our skilling program, aimed at decongesting the city, we want to skill a hawker or a vendor. After skilling him, to lobby for capital so that he is supported. After being supported, we want to network him or her to the market, such that there is a chain. She produces, or he produces, he has where to sell.
He says they operate within the parameters of Kampala Smart City program to decongest Kampala City.
Number of hawkers are going to be limited according to the way we are going to organize. So those who are expecting to see Mujuzo, please don't expect it to get us into that way. We are going to work in a shift because hawkers and vendors are many, but basically for parks, we want hawkers and we are going to work on a shift to see that a number that can be recognized or a number that can be accommodated to see that many of them can work and earn a living.
Under the annual program, they want to upgrade and create sustainable market networks. Story by Tony Patera Homoza, reporting for CTV, PM Edition.
Police at KAHWOKYA are investigating a Saturday morning fire that killed 2 people as well as destroying several houses and businesses in Betania Zone, Deba Parish, Ruwaga Division in Kampala. Lukoye Sigire, the Kampala Metropolitan Police Deputy Spokesperson, identified the deceased as Musa and his wife, Nabunya.
That while 2 people who are believed to be husband and wife who are sleeping, a fire broke out in their wooden self-help structure, killing them. They have been identified as Musa and Nabunya alias Senga. Those are the identities we have so far about them. Of course, the fire was later on extinguished by first responders and the fire prevention and rescue services. But preliminary investigations have so far shown us that they had a charcoal stove inside the premise. And this could have been one of the things that sparked off this fire. Continue to caution members of the public to be mindful about items that can easily catch fire or easily cause fire, and also make sure they maintain the houses they stay in very often. So investigations are still ongoing.
In our regional roundup, according to legislative elections results, the ruling party in the Congo is still dominant with over 50% of the seats, while Kenya and Somalia strengthened their bilateral ties with the resumption of MIRAA trade, among other goods. The Republic of the Congo published Friday provisional results of the first round of legislative elections. The polls, which took place early July, sought to fill the 151 seats of the National Assembly. According to the Minister of Territorial Administration, Guy Georges Mbaka, who announced the provisional results, the ruling party dominated the election. The Congolese Labour Party of President Denis Sassou Nguesso won more than half of the 151 seats. The voter turnout was not communicated by the authorities. The second round of legislative elections is expected to take place by the end of July. Facing the PCT is the Pan-African Union for Social Democracy and the Union of Humanist Democrats. The Federation and the Collective of the Congolese Opposition chose to boycott the vote. At least 3,000 observers sent by national NGOs, the African Union, and the Economic Community of Central African States are overseeing the vote. Somalia and Kenya have strengthened their bilateral ties. Newly elected Somalian President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud ended Friday a two-day official visit to his Kenyan counterpart Uhuru Kenyatta. At the end of his trip, the country's foreign ministers announced the nations had agreed to restart with immediate effect the trade of the stimulant KHAT, which means that air shipments of KHAT, also known as MIRAA, will resume after a 2-year break. Somalia is one of the biggest markets of MIRAA, and central Kenya, a big producer of the plant, whose leaves and stems are a popular stimulant and appetite suppressant. Among a range of deals signed, the leaders have directed immediate market access of fish from Somalia to Kenya and vice versa, and agreed to ease some visa restrictions as well as reopen the border. President Kenyatta and President Mohamud have directed immediate market access of fish from Somalia to Kenya and vice versa. In what some political commentators have called a desperate move, US President Joe Biden has invited his United Arab Emirates counterpart, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, to the White House. In Hong Kong, men trying to flee to Taiwan on a boat get a jail sentence. We have more.
Minister to the sports minister all the way down.
United States President Joe Biden extended an invitation to his counterpart from the United Arab Emirates, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, to visit the White House. The two world leaders met during the Arab Summit in Saudi Arabia, and Biden said that he hopes Sheikh Mohammed will visit the US this year as he looks forward to another period of strong and growing cooperation. Biden says the two leaders understand that the challenges they face today demand their cooperation. The summit is being considered to be an opportunity for Biden to set United States' agenda in the Middle East and to bolster relations with different countries. During his address at the summit, the US president said America will not walk away from the region as efforts continue to stabilize the precarious situation in major parts of the Middle East amid growing civil war and oil prices. Biden also insisted that the United States will be taking a different approach, following lessons from both Afghanistan and Iraq. He said he is proud to be able to say that the areas of land wars in the region was that involved huge numbers of American forces are not underway. 7 men in Hong Kong who tried to flee to Taiwan in a boat to escape protest-related charges have been handed jail sentences. The jail sentences are between 7 and 10 months long and have been handed for acts to pervert the course of justice. Defense lawyers had argued earlier that the men had already served time in a mainland jail. However, Deputy District Judge Newman Wong opined that the men had given the public a sense of contempt for the judiciary and a deliberate challenge to the legal system. All of them faced pro-democracy movement-linked charges. The protests rocked Hong Kong in 2019. Many of the men who were sentenced on Friday face separate criminal proceedings even now. This may see them jailed for longer. At the time when it happened, the boat incident fueled tension between the US and China. US State Department had said that it was deeply concerned about the case and that detainees were being denied access to lawyers of their choice. One of those sentenced, Andy Lee, is now in a Hong Kong prison awaiting sentencing for a charge of collusion with foreign forces under a China-imposed national security law, a case linked to jailed media tycoon and China critic Jimmy Lai.
Any person.
It is 26 minutes past 9 p.m. Let's take a short break. I have more you do not want to miss in the sports world. Thank you for watching PM Edition. Welcome back. In our sports news, just a year after joining SERIE National Volleyball League, Orange Blockbusters defied all odds when they dethroned Nemo Stars in May to secure their maiden title. The question though is this the start of their dominance? CTV got hold of their club patron, Ahmed Chigundu, who shared the club's future plan after their sensational success.
Serves it to George. Smith goes for the back set.
Orange Blockbusters men's volleyball team managed to come from a game down to stand record 6-time league champions Nemo Stars in the best of 3 final Serie A to secure their maiden league title.
KBC, but they have a team who also tips over. Medina.
The Uganda best side's triumph was, however, not only with the men's team. The women's volleyball team also brushed aside KAVCA 2-0 in the best of 3 series, a feat that helped them lift this season's Serie B title as well as promotion to the Women's Serie A National Volleyball League. Club patron Ahmed Chigundu says although it was a surprise for the men's side to win this year's Serie A title, the fact that they were in the series plus determination helped them to finish the line.
We have been asked that question several times, how we, the main club, managed to take on the league. I guess that every person in Serie A is entitled to take the league. So we came with that kind of commitment and bonding the players together because we saw the quality of players, the experienced and the new ones who are coming in who are very good.
Chigundu goes on to say the team will do all it takes to defend the title next season.
We were first time in this area and we took the cup. It means if maybe by chance we are the runners up or the third, still it's not a bad problem to us. Though it is not going to be easy to take it away from us. That one I must admit.
Oh, what a block that is!
OBB have now secured a ticket to the Africa Volleyball Championships after winning the league, with the championships slated for September. With this being their first edition, Chigundu is optimistic that they will indeed compete as well as utilize the experience to favorably compete.
The participants there, they are all champions in their different countries. Although our target is not going to go and participate, we want to go and compete, but we cannot say that we are going there for glory. We are going there also to compete.
The OBB men's side continued their impressive dominance this year after winning the Nkumba Volleyball Open Tournament last month. The side from Uganda is now preparing for the National Club Championships. They are eagerly waiting to take part due to the fact that this year's Club Championships are to be hosted in Uganda. Chigundu is excited for the fans in Uganda and is confident that they will help the team secure a 3rd trophy this year.
Our target was to consolidate the fan base in Uganda. So we thought that if we win that, which thanks to God we won it, we won the bidding, we are going to take this as an event to consolidate our fan base. So that's why we are trying to do much work there in Uganda in terms of training to make sure we only don't participate in that event, but to win.
The National Club Championships start next month in Uganda, starting on August 2nd. The winner will book a ticket to the Africa Volleyball Championships. Noah Walakira, CTV, PM Edition.
With the day left until the semi-finals of the 2022 Women's Africa Cup of Nations, we take a look at the journey of the 4 teams left in the competition. Hosts Morocco entertain reigning champions